Calm their demons and take the win. Let's find out as we prepare for the games.
مباراة فريق OG و LGD مو أول مرة نشوفها وقد شاهدناها مرات كثيرة، لكن هالمرة هذه تبي تكون الستيكس جدا عالية، لأنه في حالة خسارتك للجيم ما عاد بيكون عندك فرصة أنك تكمل سنجل إليمينيشن ماتش، وخطوة أخيرة قبل ما يتأهل فريق إلى الجراند فاينل، بيكون أول فريق معنا يوصل إلى الجراند فاينل في الرياض ماسترز. مباراة بتكون ثقيلة، خلونا على طول أعزائي المشاهدين نروح للاستوديو التحليل على طول ونفتتح اليوم النهائي من بطولة رياض ماسترز.
We've gone to watch the teams walk out on that stage. And everyone's talking about, the storylines. Oh, OG always beats LGD. That's the one thorn. Is that really true, Dan? Do you think LGD sees them that way? I know you do, JMR.
I don't know. I think LGD are going to take a very similar attitude to OG, that this is a good learning experience for them, because we always talk about, we have a bit of a Western focus when we think about all these things. It's like OG's first chance to play this Chinese juggernaut, right? Whereas it's also LGD's first chance to play OG in quite some time. They're going to be able to take that back.
Everyone, right? LGD is like, finally, we can play international teams. I'm curious on the other side. Everyone's talking about how this is the big test for OG because they get to play against the Chinese teams. Is that true to you, Jamar?
I think that for us, there's specific learnings that the team has to go through from now until TI to be ready. And this is one of them, Okay. You have to go internationally to play a tournament. You have to feel what the pressure it feels when you play with these guys, because it's really big.
Right.
And whatever they win or whatever they lose, they're going to have that experience, because you don't want to learn that during TI.
Yes.
Yeah, even for the Chinese teams, right? Like LGD or Chinese Dota in general, there is a bit of a stereotype that they're kind of a little bit too stubborn when it comes to these lands. They stick with what they know for too long, whereas other teams are known to adapt a little bit, bring out something new mid-tournament, which for something like TI, which this year it's a multi-week tournament, might be a little bit more challenging. I think flexibility is even more at a premium. And Jay, I want to ask you something as well. You were briefly talking to me about before how OG might be viewing this, like you said, as a learning experience, but how do you feel the pressure is going to be on them versus, let's say, LGD?
I think LGD has to have more pressure, I mean, if they get beat by a bunch of 16-year-olds, I'm going to be tweeting on them. It's like, oh, what's up, bro?
What happened? What happened? I thought you guys were the kings, yeah.
What do you think, LGD expert? Do you think that the age matters to them? The experience? Do you think they value that a lot? Or is it just Dota, good Dota is good Dota?
Bro, Dota players are Dota players. They have pride. You don't want to get stomped by anyone. Not to say they will get stomped, of course, but I think that they're definitely going to get it from their fans if OG are able to come out on top, and that's not what anyone wants. Everyone wants to be the big dog.
Sure. Have we had that experience? Because I know, for example, the other Chinese coaches, right, RTK was very vocal about his beefs with literally half the scene at this point. Very passionate man. Do you think Xiaoba also has that kind of attitude, or do you feel like he's just game at a time, play the best Dota you can?
He seems a lot more measured. You see a lot of these teams, and sometimes it's good for the performance in terms of just keeping your emotions steady, right. Not riding too high, not going too low, because then you can have dips and all that sort of stuff. But it's just so entertaining to see those really explosive, fiery personalities, which is why someone like Amar obviously has such a big fan base. Or honestly, he's a little polarizing as well. Some people love him, some people love to not love him so much.
I think he's the funniest guy we have on the roster, and we're very lucky to have him. He's amazing, and he's grown a lot, Yeah. He used to be a little bit more of the challenging punk when he joined the roster, and now he's really understood what it takes to win and how you need to really harmonize with everybody else. And he's been lovely to work with.
I want to ask at one point, now it's long past that, but there was a little bit of beef in the Stockholm Major with Amar with a couple of players.
Beef.
Yeah, beef. One particular one was Matthew from Thunder Awaken. They said some words to each other in a pub, and Amar actually apologized as he progressed to the Stockholm Major, which I thought was interesting. He won the game, he's like, very sorry for what I said, didn't mean to be mean. Was that something he had planned the whole time? Do you guys know anything about this storyline for Amar?
No, we really don't try to control who they are or how they're going to be. I know that Amar is just a competition. He's 16-year-old, and he's constantly, bouncing, and he wants you to bounce back. He doesn't want just to run you over and how he plays and how he talks. But if he feels or he ever felt that somebody was taking offense, it's not his objective, He will apologize if you have to.
That's very nice. To apologize on a big stage takes a lot of guts. He seems like a very shy person, so to do that, I feel like that's a test of courage for him, right?
He's great. He's a great kid.
It's always a bit of fun, right? Like, you don't want to be this one-way street where you're just like giving a lot of this banter, giving, and getting nothing back. You know, that's what I was saying before about these more exuberant personalities. You want that showmanship to be able to come out. And honestly, LGD probably one of the more calm, cool, collected teams that are less likely to be able to give a little bit back. But, you know, we saw in their series, even against D-Boosters, when they were able to get that level 1 Roshan, we saw a few smiles go across the LGD, and, you know, they were happy. They were bantering in the all chat, which is always great to see. But we're into the draft, and, well, speaking of Amar, he has been able to pick up that Viper for himself. So clearly a lot of attention being given to him with those first couple of bans, the Timbersaw and the Razor. Obviously, Amar Timbersaw, very fearsome. Razor seems a little bit like the hero of the tournament. Something's got to slip through.
Yeah. I'm curious about the Viper, because all the picks that we've seen for Amar.
Ooh.
Now, who's playing what?
Okay, never mind. Maybe it is Amar Slaughter. This is interesting. What do you think of the deviation is? I mean, Viper clearly a flex still, but could Slaughter be playing in other positions, Dano?
I'm not feeling quite as strong about it. Back when he was playing on Liquid, Tiger as the position 4 sometimes switched up roles with Boxy at the time when there was a Slaughter in the game.
That
was a little bit more likely, yeah. So I'm keen to see how it works out, because Nature's Prophet, it's one of those heroes that's good at bullying out people in the lane. You've got a lot of ways to be able to just deal quick physical damage to the heroes, assuming it is a position 1. Arme's played it a couple of times, POS 1, so it could certainly be the case, but I think they're just wanting to leave their options open. We've seen, you know, Viper paired with a Dragon Knight a lot of these other times, and clearly they're just thinking that the minus armor against someone like the Tiny, if it is indeed going to be a core at some stage, is going to be a little bit more valuable.
JMR, one of the brands, I think, for OG, for all Dota fans, has been the idea of like never giving up, right? There's one of the best teams historically at coming back from lost games. Do you feel like this current iteration also has that spirit as well? Or do you think they are very much of a snowbally kind of rotation, winning lanes?
I think we're a little bit greedier than we were before. I mean, understatement. We're the greediest team in the world. And I think that, look, when we see the draft here, the fun thing that I can add, you always start thinking, oh no, this is for sure the carry player, the carry hero. You know, you don't know. But we don't know, they don't know, and BCM definitely doesn't know. He's like, okay, what am I going to get stuck playing, you know?
Who's the person that decides how everything works together at the end? Is that Misha or is that Chuvash?
I think Amar has a lot of impact with it, and obviously Misha and Chu as the captain and the coach. But I think everybody gets a feeling of what's happening, you know? We practice so much, you know, you've seen already the iterations, and we know what kind of hero pool everybody feels comfortable playing.
And when you flex a pick, when does the Amar test happen? Is that after, when they're deciding it, or before?
Okay, so the Amar test is that Amar will check your level in Dota buff of a hero. And if he doesn't like it, he will just disregard anything you say. So there was like a moment on the major where Seb was like, oh, I think this is a good AA pick. And Amar went to Dota buff, and he clicked Wind Ranger. He didn't say, no, I think, no, but no, you're playing Wind Ranger.
What is it? It's like Dota Plus, it's like gold or above, basically.
I'm not sure. Yeah. I'm not sure, but if you don't pass it, you're not playing the hero.
I think Seb in your podcast said it was first they would check win rate, then last few games, right?
Yes.
That was it, and of course the level was the first thing. I think it was like level 10 or above, but you're not playing it, right?
Yeah.
Really high standards for him. LGD also has high standards, but those are decided by the director, as we like to call him, right? Whenever he has a plan, he tells his players to practice this beforehand. That's why they're always ready. That's why they're so versatile. What can you tell me about this plan you're seeing right now? Actually reminiscent a little bit of the RNG lineups we saw with this early Furion.
Yeah, I mean, I think you just... Viper is one of those heroes that is not very mobile. That's its big weakness. You want to stand there, you want to be a turret, you want to force down towers, objectives, be a beast in a lot of these team fights. If indeed it is a core Viper, we still don't know. But we've got this Furion, of course, very mobile, able to move around the map, and they are kind of single target focused as well on OG at this point in time. So that's why it's really important for them to take away a few of those easier opportunities to be able to dominate the lane. Of course, a Warlock Bristleback against an off-lane Nature's Prophet is a fantastic lane. Bristleback, once you hit level 25, honestly even level 20, level 18, these big power spikes, all that physical damage from the Quill Spray is just going to be amped up by the Corrosive Haze from the Slardar. It just means that you can continue balling on forward. And new hero Pog Champ. We've got a Dazzle coming out here. Again, it's all about the burst damage, and it's all about the single target burst damage that OG have right now. So someone like a Dazzle's pretty good, but it's kind of just like delaying the inevitable, you know? It's not actually going to save you unless you have a way to disengage and be able to come back after a team fight. So right now, they don't exactly have that. Like the Tiny, if he's the one getting gone on, then probably you don't have a way to be able to follow up on that.
And it's fascinating as well because we've seen LGD being the team that always runs team fight 5s, right? That's been the big thing they've been doing this tournament. Last match against Nigma, they go for the Enchanters, more lane-oriented, and the Dazzle is also lane-oriented, right? Do you think it's a shift in their strategy to adapt to the OG?
Possibly. I mean, Dazzle Nature's Prophet is a really strong lane together. Like, I know they're two range, which isn't typically the way to go about it, but if it's going to be, you know, a Viper or if it's going to be a Slardar, that's exactly what you want. And this is what I was thinking. Illusion Heroes against this very single target focused lineup. It's going to be great. You know, Naga Siren, Phantom Lancer was potentially an option as well, but yeah, I don't hate this Naga.
I'm curious now about, because I'm sure you've seen them play, right? And you just like witnessed it. Yeah. When you get to, they're going for strong lanes now in LGD, right? So it's not going to be the usual destroying MR lane. What happens when the lanes don't go their way? Like, what is the recovery like? How's the attitude in OG? Do they concentrate a lot? Do they maybe try to have a lighter atmosphere?
I think that you always, if you watch all the MR games, you see that he's going to try to find farm that makes him happy and makes him feel the vibe of the game.
Right.
And I think the most interesting thing right now is all these heroes can be very greedy, but who is playing what? Right. I mean, in my 2K pubs, you know, all these are core players, core heroes, sorry.
Sure. What better way to scale? You know, if it gets to 50 minutes, they're like, we got this. We have that late game potential. But
that is the OG strat though. Until now, I'm pretty sure it's all carry.
I think that's to say, like the open AI, you know. Okay, how about we play like this? We all buy Midas, you know. We all get cores, and we just have to make an hour game, you know, and then we'll be ready.
And that's where Taiga comes into play, right? His experience and his ability at cutting lanes. That's where he has shined and shown, and he has been able to kind of delay the games for OG to scale as they want to.
So I'm just trying to think what OG are looking to go for with this last pick of the overall draft. I wouldn't hate something like a Death Prophet, for example. You've got some percentage damage, you get that Spirit Siphon onto the real Naga Siren. Even if you're going to use the Mirror Image, it's still going to be able to follow you. Some extra tower push. Roshan just melts even faster. You probably don't even need to pop the Exorcism for it. I really wouldn't hate to see something like that. And again, it is still kind of flexible, right? You can toss it into multiple different lanes.
Where would you put it, though, the Death Prophet?
I don't think OG knows where they would put it if they were to pick it up, but...
Musical chairs. We're going to play music and we stop.
Yeah.
Are they the only team that's also played the Viper 4, I believe? Like, they're one of the few teams that actually wants to flex it as 4, at least in the tournament.
Yeah, you don't really often see it as a 4 because obviously 4s want to be rotating. They want to be making sure that you're able to assist with those water runes, those power runes, because, you know, I guess maybe that's a little bit less of a factor now, considering we're seeing the heroes that like to go for those power runes drop off a little bit. Not so much Ember Spirit, not so much Storm Spirit. Those are the big two. Obviously,
yeah, Puck's fallen off a little bit, though.
A little bit, yeah, for sure, and that's really because of the Tiny a lot of the time. So, but Tiny likes to use those water runes as well. So maybe OG just aren't valuing the rune rotations quite as much, and they just want to focus on dominating the lanes.
Right. And now OG, they currently have an issue with this Naga, right? You have a lot of minus armor, which is fine, but Naga also known for having one of the highest base armors in the game. Great agility gain. You have the help from the Dazzle as well in that regard. What is the final pick, or what do you think they need for this to answer them?
So you can see right now it's actually Chu and Amar that are drafting right now together. So Amar has the papers, which are also a staple for us.
Yes.
So he's drafting right now.
Yeah, I'm a little bit different, right? Obviously, Misha's like the captain of the team, and by the way, just a little bit of extra info, 24th birthday for Misha, so happy birthday to him. But maybe that's one of his presents, you know? Obviously, Amar has a lot of addition to the draft, but they're just like, you know what? Take it easy this time, Misha. We're going to let you sit back and relax.
There's the magic damage we were talking about, right? To deal with the high armor, and a favorite of them, the Puck. Does the Tiny go mid now for LGD, Daniel?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I think you absolutely want to be doing this. I mean, Nature's Prophet is able to rotate through, right? And the Winter Wyvern coming through. Okay.
Ooh.
I mean, up against a Dawnbreaker, it's a really solid lineup. I was thinking this is what I wanted with that turnaround potential, right? Dazzle can do the initial save, but it's what you do after that that's going to be the big turnaround potential. So against a lot of this minus armor, Winter Wyvern, of course, great against physical damage. If you're looking to ball up and just go with a Dawnbreaker, fantastic too. So two really different styles of lineups. I'm wondering if they might be just going a little bit too defensive on LGD's side. I think outside of this Tiny, they don't have the greatest ways to be able to make plays.
Does OG have ways to make plays? Are you excited about this game?
I'm very excited. I just still don't know who's going to play what.
Yeah, sure.
You guys want to take a guess?
We never find out on this panel, so you know it's been a staple of this. Yeah, sure. You want to take a guess? What? Let me just give me one. Like, what does Amar or BZM play?
I think Amar plays the. So I think Tiger's going to play Viper.
Okay.
And obviously TA.
So Misha 5 Dawnbreaker.
Misha 5, yeah, Dawnbreaker.
And then Amar 3, and then BZM on the Amar Slaughter and BZM on the puck.
Yep.
Classic BZM puck. That was the hero with his Invoker when he was back on Creep Wave. That's always very exciting to see. Oh, the Viper.
The Viper.
Oh, no. Anyway, what about as we get into this first game? Will LGD's more defensive lineup be able to work? Will this new Dazzle strategy be successful? Or will this scary Viper that takes over the panel take over the lane as well? We're going to have to find out as we go to game number 1 between OG and PSG.LGD.
Thank you, Alva. Right, here we are, game 1, OG, a classic for them, right? Lots of brawling, lots of team fight and catch, but LGD with more reset tools than I've ever seen in a Dota game.
It's a lot of healing. It's like, if we talk about their lineup, you have Nature's Prophet deeping back, you have Dazzle with the heal, Song, Winter Wyvern with the curse to the heal. This is gonna be a very, very difficult game to just like, because, I mean, if you look at the OG's lineup, they do have explosiveness, they do have what it takes to isolate and bring down the hero, especially with Slaughter and TA. This is a lineup that's gonna threaten Roshan at every single stage of the game. I'm a little worried that this Naga Siren pick caught them a bit off guard, because in terms of the AoE control and damage, once Naga Siren gets to like 2-3 items, it's gonna be very difficult. But yeah, we can hear the crowd clapping. It's time. OG against PSG.LGD on the main stage. This is what we wanted to see. You know, some international Dota, 2 big orgs, 2 big teams playing against each other.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's like TI Grand Finals quality of teams and players at this point. As we get ourselves into the first game of this series. What kind of build are we expecting from the Naga Siren? Because she's kind of been in and out of the meta from time to time. We've you know, seen them move away from Diffusal into that kind of Manta Skadi, early scaling. Do we go back to the Diffusal now it's
it's definitely a good Skadi game we're talking about, especially against the Templar Assassin. So Manta style going to be your farming tool, into Skadi, into one more item. Most likely going to be like Aghanim Scepter to be able to deal with the BKB. Also laning stage. I'm looking at Naga Siren plus Dazzle. So, you know, having this heal bomb, something that has been popular.
With the illusions.
Absolutely. If we talk about like Naga, PL, super potent, a lot of healing coming out, and they wanted to sustain. Taiga's going to be playing Viper, something that he has done before a couple of times. I remember a few games where he like just went full tank mode and went for a Crimson Guard, but also more utility, going for Raid Pact, Force Staff, whatever the team is needed. Yeah, they do have a lot of silences, and as I said, they do have like a bit of a global presence, especially if we talk about like the later stages of the game, Dawnbreaker ulti, Puck showing up, like Templar Assassin potentially getting Aghanim Scepter later on, but still, I think the fights are going to be very difficult. PSG.LGD, they are known for good positioning, and now you have like 2 saving supports on top of your core also having a save. Even a toss back, that's also a save.
Yeah, you've got so many layers to that, don't you? You keep looking at this and it develops further and further as you think more about it. If someone gets gone on, they've got Curse to reset, Song to reset, Dazzle with the Grave, of course. We'll see how they do in these lanes, though. Early days, like you were saying, the Naga with the Dazzle, it's physical damage from the Shadow Wave and minus armor from Riptide. So that damage can quickly add up if you're caught unaware as OG, an incredibly strong safe lane. But on OG's side, it's a Slardar Viper, right? They've got aggression and the potential to dominate a lane of their own. Great ways.
It is a lot of healing. It is a lot of confusion because Slardar wants to lock onto target. Same goes for Viper. So using these illusions is going to be a bit difficult, I would say, for OG in the laning stage. Also, value from Dawnbreaker, they do have like good ways to reset the fight with Naga Siren ulti. We've seen Wyvern as a counter to Dawnbreaker. You just ulti whoever is getting ulted by Dawnbreaker, and you know you have like a pretty good setup overall.
And there are quite a few counters out there, right? You're talking about the Wyvern against Dawnbreaker, but there's also this Tiny against Puck that we've seen a lot of players not want to pick Puck into Tiny because it is the lane counter and also the mid-game counter with the nuke damage you have.
Yeah, you're always going to be able to threaten kill on Puck with Tiny. They don't have that much lockdown on the other heroes. The other one that Puck is going to be afraid of is Winter Curse. Other than that, he should be okay. I also want to see what item build on Fate Beyond's going to be, but we're talking about the Orchid, which is not that popular, but if they feel like they need more to be able to lock down Puck, you should go for it. Usually we see the Maelstrom into Gleipnir Shard build to be able to scale, and also, I mean, this also a root mechanics are really good against the Puck.
Yeah, more disables, more pushing power, always helpful for you, as we do get 3 bounty runes grabbed up by OG. Tiger there with the follow Alan Cook, Bonkers, one of their managers of OG. We're giving a shout out by Tiger and his team tag.
Oh, yeah.
He's the bald one with a big beard. He's a good lad.
Gotta give a shout out to all the people who are making this happen. And top lane, Jinkyu is gonna be playing Wyvern, known for going extremely greedy. So I want to see what this time around he's gonna be going for. Like we're talking about scaling item build most of the time. There's gonna be harassment already. Couple of treants, something that Templar Assassin does not deal well in the laning stage. Misha already down to 60% HP.
Yeah, incredibly irritating. And double ranged up against double melee, basically. Templar Assassin, before she gets levels up in Side Blades, is basically a melee hero. In fact, she's worse than a melee hero at level 1. She can barely de-ward up high grounds with her base attack range. It's that bad. And Misha, for now, is contending with treants for the most part, throwing that Celestial Hammer to make sure they aren't chipping away at the TA and giving Yuragi that early space that he needs.
Misha starting with Ring of Protection, understanding that a lot of damage is going to be coming out from Nature's Prophet and the treants. Jinkyu stops the pull.
Very good.
A lot of denies on the mid lane. 4 already on Nothing to Say. 7 and 4 and only 3 and 2 on Puck.
Yeah, I was just looking in there because we know that this Tiny can handle the Puck incredibly well. So it's going to come down to BZM and trying to outmaneuver the Tiny, get those water runes. And did you expect OG to try and help him out? Because Viper not really the best hero to rotate, and Dawnbreaker, is she going to be controlling runes for the Puck as well? Or is this just down to BZM, you're on your own?
Probably we're talking about like 4 minutes rune rotation. He's going to be the one calling the shots, whether he needs some kind of a help. And also if PSG.LGD supports decide to move around, that means that potentially he's not going to be able to pick up one of the water runes. Tiny already has his bottle, and so does BZM. So let's see. They are deciding who goes left, who goes right.
Oh, BZM was right.
BZM was right indeed.
I do get their water runes for themselves. Yeah, very, very laning focus from both teams. All the supports, not the most ideal rotators or gankers. As Tiger looks for the Courier Snipe bot, gonna miss out on it. Trying to play forward and harass back White. But it looks like so far, LGD coming out on top in the regen trade in that Naga Dazzle lane. Slardar doing well with the CS though, 14-2. Naga's 11-0, having a little bit of a struggle, but now we're level 3, we're going to have the potential for the kill threat and aggression from LGD if Viper ever oversteps his bounds.
Slardar going, Amar going for what he's known for, just a casual, 1 bracer power treads into Mask of Madness. He wants to be able to scale, and we see the power whenever Ame uses his illusions into heal. Why? A little bit low on mana. Has 1 mango only to work with, so gotta be a little bit more careful.
Well, he will get a pull off into the Kobold camp. That should leave a couple of creeps to come back towards OG, but this is gonna drag the wave back for Ame under his own tower. Give him that safety he requires. And Misha looks like he's gonna go deny himself to the tier 2 tower. He's expended all of his resources. Drops the voice line.
But the TP from Fate Beyond.
He comes in. Gets the first blood. He saw that coming. Well-deserved tip. Misha thought he was just going to be absolutely fine to deny himself there.
That's big. Getting solo XP and getting the gold for that kill. He's almost as farmed as Templar Assassin, but a lot of denies. 9 denies on Tiny, 9 denies on Nature's Prophet.
Why is sending Amar back? Tiger really struggling to deal with these illusions, though. Every time Ame pops them out, there's 1 illusion going to Viper, 1 on the Slardar, and then another couple as he farms the creep wave.
And it gets more difficult as you get levels on Naga Siren, because the cooldown goes down by 5 seconds with each level, and once you have it on level 4, that means you're going to be able to permanently have illusions.
Yeah, and the wave also dragged back by LGD top. Nice cold embrace there, but down the bottom lane, Amar. The poison touch on him. Arme and Y nearly able to bring him down as Misha runs it back from top. And it seems LGD having the better end of the stick in terms of controlling the wave in the area they want it to be. They're closer to their towers. They're getting more safe and secure farm. OG not being allowed to be as greedy as they wanted to. As JMR was saying on the panel, right, they are much greedier than the previous iterations of OG. Primarily down to Amar being the position one, basically, in a lot of these games.
He's one from the off lane, no doubt about it. Taiga.
Oh, nothing to say. Taiga, all dropping very low. Viper is able to create a gap between himself and the Naga illusions. Needs Amar's help.
Of these illusions right now, they don't have AoE to deal with that. Yeah, the constant sustain. I also see that Ame is going to go for a Ring of Bassi, so extra mana in the lane. Wants to finish off the power treads first, of course.
Yeah, we see it quite a lot, right? You've got this position one that wants to spam. You buy the Bassi. We've seen a couple of mid players buy the Falcon Blade as well. I think it was Somnus buying it on the Lina.
On Lina, yeah. I didn't see other heroes, other players going for it, but yeah, he's extremely greedy whenever he plays Lina, because he wants to be able to constantly get those stacks up, you know, have that permanent 7 on Lina. And yeah, both of OG members on bottom lane very low.
Actually, a continual victory for LGD.
Start was really good. Like in terms of CS, Amar's doing pretty good. He has what 32, and Nagasaren at 26. But as time goes by, it's just gonna get easier for Ame to play the lane.
Man, you keep looking back at that Tiny though, 45 and 17. Not top of the net worth because Furion obviously got that first blood, but sitting close to 3,000 net worth as they bring Jinq mid, along with a catapult wave. A very early push, 6.5 minutes in from LGD. A cold embrace and the glyph.
Forward, do I see that correctly? 6 minutes in, forcing a glyph, and nothing to say. Does have invis, but there is sentry plays by Misha.
Well, this is very aggressive, isn't it? What's the plan here for LGD? You're just trying to force OG to react. A toss back. They'll find Taiga. An easy one for them. Steps a little too far forward, and nothing to say will punish that.
Damage was done. Half of the HP on the tower gone. Ame feels safe on the bottom. They cannot kill him. They need to have Puck rotate the bottom lane to be able to kill Ame, but might not even get the kill because Y is level 4. He does have a point in Shallow Grave, so could potentially buy some extra time. We're talking about the Temporary Assassin as well. No stacks being made at the moment. Yuragi gonna stack for himself potentially because Triangle is not stacked at all.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good move by LGD as gonna bash it onto the Naga, but look at that damage coming through from the Wrath of Nature. Y and Jinq helping out Ame to pick up a kill, and maybe Misha, yeah, TP back home successfully. But it's such a swift move from LGD. They bring 4 mid, they chip away at the tower, but they don't stick around, right? They are immediately back into their lanes, missing out on maybe half a creep wave. On the other side, OG didn't overreact.
Oh, he's gonna
get
pick
tossed.
it up.
He gets the regen rune.
That's a big one. Stealing it from Puck and also having it on Tiny means that you're gonna be able to play much more aggressive.
And now Taiga.
Combo on cooldown for a couple of seconds.
The Arctic Burn and the Poison Touch, so much slow onto an already sluggish hero. Tier 1 tower now wide open, getting pinged out. OG want to defend this. I don't know if LGD will go all out to try and pressure it. It looks like they're sticking around with the 3 here, and the Treants arriving in from the northern side. Well, they're like
Fatebion is not here, but he sent the Treants. It's all about these like small plays that you do. Fatebion even gets the last hit. This is going to be really good timing on Orchid for Fatebion.
And he preemptively sent them, right? They were already halfway through their duration when they arrived, so he sent them.
That's called communication, Gary. These are professional e-athletes. So.
Talking.
We heard your comms yesterday.
I'm jungling, I'm pushing, I'm pushing.
This is not how the professional teams comms.
I had Beak up in my lane. I had to say everything 5 times so he would listen.
Siren doesn't have a point in ulti, but nothing to say.
There comes Tiny. Avalanche toss, Fatebion TP's in. The numbers are here. Everybody brought into the mix bottom lane and 2 heroes down. LGD.
I see 5 heroes from PSG.LGD here. And look what Jinq is doing. He's the one who's using the cold embrace just to have some extra damage, just popping on the tower. Nothing to say, he's not done yet.
He's found Taiga.
And that's another one.
Toss him back across to Arme. The Shadow Wave bomb and a kill on him. 7-0. PSG.LGD not mucking around. They came here to dominate, and so far it has been a clinic. Look at this building damage. 0 from the members of OG, tons from the Nature's Prophet
Viper
and the rest of the
doesn't even
squad.
have a 0 near his name. That's nothing. We don't expect Viper to deal any kind of tower damage unless he picks up the shard, which is going to be tough in this game. Now Siren, she's going to go big. Ame completely free farming in this game, going for the Manta style. Like, I don't see how they're going to be able to kill Naga with all these heal. Most of their damage is physical. We're talking about Templar Assassin Slaughter. Puck does have magical, but Cold Embrace, Dazzle, and also just reset from Song of the Siren.
Yeah.
And also having the Dispel mechanic. We're talking about Mirror Image, Manta style. PSG.LGD, they're going to hit a really big timing. And if they are able to steal Roshan from OG, because OG's lineup is really good at taking it, that's going to be huge.
And it often feels you need it with a TA on your team, right?
Yeah.
You want that first Roshan to secure you another 3-4 minutes of free farm objectives. Get the gold into your TA so she can accelerate faster than her opponents. Well, yeah, the Viper, with no 0, I mean, his building damage is a square root of -1. It's just imaginary. BZM gonna need a lot of outplays in this. We've seen how well he can do on the puck when it comes to these scrappy team fights. And he's gonna need a little bit more time to maneuver on this map, though, as it gets smaller and smaller for OG.
OG's not gonna even defend this tower. They are getting the farm, because net worth hasn't changed that much, you know, considering that they have 0 kills, didn't manage to deal any tower damage. Not gonna even say kill it, because 0 damage.
And all the tier 1s are dead.
Yeah, absolutely. They lost every single tier 1 tower, so this opens up the map for PSG.LGD, and here's the smoke.
Where are they heading? I mean, who would they ideally like to kill in this situation? Is it the TA, I guess?
It's Puck, I would say.
Okay.
Because Nature's Prophet does have Orchid coming up to him, so Puck is going to be food.
The smoke pops. Amar was up on the high ground, aggressively jungling. They'll find him and then stun him with the avalanche from nothing to say. Slardar caught. And how many, Lacoste? Can you count them again?
1, 2, 3, 4. Ame is in the enemy triangle. He wants to be able to steal some of the farm from Templar Assassin.
But there's really no half measures, right? LGD, every time they move, it is as 3 or 4 or 5. There's not a 2-man rotation. It's not one hero left alone. It's Ohana. Ohana means family, and family means no one gets left behind. They are a tight-knit group.
So far, perfect aim from PSG.LGD. Moving to the mid lane, getting the numbers, securing the runes for their Tiny.
And a curse. It's in there onto the 2 supports. Misha being hit down by his Viper, and nothing to say arrives, blows them up. 10-0. Spectacular stuff from LGD. 4-0-4 on the Tiny. What do we say about that? Death's not found?
Yeah. It's looking really rough for OG in this game. They don't have like heroes that can make aggressive moves, because Dawnbreaker as a 5 is much
fantasy
more
points.
like counter
No,
defensive.
fantasy points. Oh, yeah, 14. Nature's Prophet right out there at the front.
And Fabian, after finishing the Orchid, which is going to completely cripple Puck, even Templar Assassin, going for a Witchblade to have some extra overtime damage against the Templar Assassin. I think OG should try to farm up Deso on Templar Assassin. Yuragi's relatively close, needs another 2 minutes of free farming, and then go with the... Because Puck has a Witchblade. Right now they're smoked. They're trying to make something happen.
Yeah, I mean, look at that.
I don't think I've ever
everywhere.
I don't think I've seen heat map like that, because
No.
they're all around the place. Everyone's moving. They're not static.
Like maybe 60 minutes in, but 13 minutes in, he's everywhere. Faith Bian gets the silence onto the Dawn. Jinkyu is nearby as well. Let's see if he can turn this back. It looks like the Prophet will be slain by Yuragi's TA. A nice streak to be grabbed, and the Wyvern's been left alone. And that play style they were talking about by LGD has broken down a little bit. They've spread the map wide, and they weren't all together this time.
Yeah, it's very important to get that kill for the team, because they were sitting at 0. If you look at the top of the screen, like, it can potentially affect you, so getting a 1 or 2 is pretty big. Nothing to say so far. Pretty much a perfect game. Has a haste rune in the bottle, going for the Echo Saber, so they should, like, they could easily also outnumber OG with the global teleport, Tiny with the haste, and seems like they want to make something done.
Yeah, it's a good point by JJ there, just hovering over the 2 cores of OG. They're both 1-0-1. Neither of the cores have died, so all of these kills from LGD have been on supports or less valuable heroes. As they jump in onto the Slardar, this is a valuable one. Amar will get the crush out. Nothing to say, looking to finish him off, but the Dawnbreaker Solar Guardian arriving, and Amar needed to be cursed up. Dawnbreaker will whack him down though, and Misha's arrived onto the scene to be netted up by the Naga Siren and finished off by the Illusions.
And nothing to say, still not done. Getting
Big
another one
back,
with the haste.
straight into the middle of 4 of them. LGD realizing, right, we can't have these heroes being 2 up top and 2 down bottom. We'll group up again as 405 and show OG what we're made of.
So much aggression from PSG.LGD. Every single time they get like another small item, they decide to go in and get another kill. Ame completely free farming on top of the net worth, going Scotty next after finishing the Manta style. Once you get to that Scotty timing, that means that Templar Assassin, like I don't think she's gonna be able to do much in these fights. I mentioned the Deso timing on Templar Assassin. I think they should try to go and potentially get a kill, turn that into Roche, because it takes you like 20-25 seconds to kill Roche with TA and Slardar plus Deso.
Yeah, you can do it incredibly quickly. Amara looking to finish off his blink. Gets away from the grasp of nothing to say. They assume there's vision around there. LGD just wandering into the darkness though. And Armate deep in his own jungle, sitting in the pocket to farm away. Pushing Q and Y, turning it around on Misha. Getting a D-ward while the Dawnbreaker dies inside the Sprout. Y has his priorities right. Kill the vision before the heroes. Make sure OG didn't have any recourse, no turnaround potential. And nothing to say again. Just jumps straight into the middle of them. Amar tossed back into the Wyvern. Sprout is there as well. And nothing to say is Tiny on the run back. Arme will guard in while they kill the Slardar simply.
There's too much sustain from PSG.LGD. They can't go like way too deep, something that Nothing to Say just did, and he knows that he can rely on one of the 2 supports to be able to bail him out, whether we're talking about the Cold Embrace or the Grave.
Yeah, look at that, ridiculous. There was like 8k healing between the Dazzle and the Wyvern. And damage spread very evenly across all 5 of LGD. Amar has yet been able to really stick on a target and get his damage out onto someone.
Well, I heard you saying, Gary, that none of the cores died on side of OG. And I see Amar with 0, 5, and 0.
None of the important ones. No, I was specifically talking about the TA and the puck. The ones they're trying to get a little bit more room, but is this LGD focusing Amar? Like we said, he's kind of the position 1 from the offlane, right?
He is. Every single time Amar is shut down, I feel like OG's having a much tougher game. Nothing to Say was looking for an opening, but could not get it done.
Yeah, he's definitely the driving force of OG, Amar. So good at getting in the thick of things, using his farm very effectively. That's only when he has it. Right now, sat just under 6k net worth, bottom of all the cores. 500 away from Blink, so not too far, but Misha jumped in the mid lane. Sent backwards in towards White. And another kill for LGD, 16-2. Tiger found and netted up. He gets the Tumbler's Toy up towards the high ground, but Arme will chase him to the ends of the earth if need be on a killing spree for the Naga Siren. While Templar Assassin finishes off her ancient camp and runs it back. And while this aggression is happening in the Dire Triangle, you look at top, tier 2 tower, chipped away at by the Nature's Prophet.
Can we check the tower damage done by the teams? I don't think, we still might be at 0. Yeah.
Yeah, that's nutty. They've barely crossed the river, have they? And this is the Roshan steal.
They go. Yep, stealing a Roshan from Templar Assassin, Slardar lineup. It's gonna be good. Like, we might even see PSG.LGD go for the high ground push with the first Aegis. Because they're definitely gonna feel comfortable. Naga Siren needs another 600 gold to finish off Scotty. There's way too much sustain on their side. And also the rune control. Nothing to Say pretty much picked up every single rune in this game.
It's been non-stop. He's going to get caught out here though. Sprout is there onto Tiger. Cold Embrace to keep Nothing to Say alive. And they've got the curse, allowing the Tiny to maybe slip away. Oh, he's going up aggressively. He wants to try and finish them off. Blowing up BZM. The Dawnbreaker Solar Guardian comes in, but the Grave's on the Tiny now. Nothing to Say. Going for the TP away. He's successful. No, he's cancelled. He wants to fight. They've got the Naga Song. They want to blow up Amar now. One by one, OG will fall with a Cold Embrace as well. They just can't kill anybody. struggling. LGD are dominating.
They managed to completely dominate the laning stage with their heroes, and now you're up to a point where 2 supports plus also having 1 core being able to save people, bail them out of the trouble, and this is what I mentioned, like they're gonna go for the high ground push. And OG just doesn't have what it takes to deal, like they can't even deal with 2 supports. Naga completely untouched. They know that they cannot kill her.
Now this reminds me of like old OG, where they still had Fly, and they would build up these drafts where they had Io and Dazzle and Huskar, and they'd have Wyvern, multi-layers of support. You go on one that saves the other, that saves the other, and right now, nothing to say. He knows he has so much backup. He dives tier 4 towers. He's able to turn and fight, because he's still got the Shadow Wave, the heal, the Grave, everything on top of him to keep him alive. They've killed Misha. Tiger, he's not going to survive. Naga Siren will dive in behind the barracks. They finish off the buildings, and LGD cruising towards victory at this point. OG will now look towards the Naga Siren, eyes on Army. There's the coil snap. They blow up one. Y is dropped, but the Winter's Curse straight onto Amar. Take the Slardar down as Arme stands his ground, healed up by the Cold Embrace, but this time OG.
Big ulti.
They should be able to find a couple of quick kills, but Yuragi, oh, he can't contend with these Naga illusions. Oh, Arme, he just 1v3ing them at this point. Nothing to say, will arrive back in, and Tiny punches down the TA. I don't believe this. Arme's still alive.
This might be, they were not able to take down Aegis, and they're going to call it. What a beautiful performance from PSG.LGD in game number 1.
21 minutes.
We had a lot of one-sided games this tournament. We're talking about Team Secret against PSG.LGD also being one. But PSG.LGD today, they came here to play. Like literally no mistakes being made. The double duo of saves coming out from 2 supports, and also Ame having a perfect game, nothing to say, controlling every single rune for himself. I think OG will need to go for different support. They're not going to be allowed to play like as defensive. This position 4 Viper, not too much impact. They definitely got countered in the laning stage with Naga Siren plus Dazzle. They were not allowed to get the aggression done.
Yeah, I think they're going to go back to the playbook and reconsider that Viper first pick, right? Because it's the flex pick they'd love to shift from 4 to 3. Maybe give it to Amar or Tiger. Could shove it in the mid lane, but didn't look particularly good this game. And I think you were right, honestly. We talked about that Naga Siren, the answer to OG's aggression. It caught them completely off guard. Yeah, that second phase from LGD was spot on, perfect.
They will need to shift things around in game number 2 because this was one-sided. They got dismantled.
Systematic destruction of OG from drafting stage through the laning stage, and stealing that Roshan absolutely helped for them as well.
Also, that first rotation from Fate Beyond, because like Misha did go and try to deny himself. Fate Beyond gets the first blood off to a really good start in the laning stage as well. He was really never threatened. Then he TP's mid. You see 4 heroes of PSG.LGD trying to take down the tower. Then Fate Beyond farming on the top lane, sending the Treants to the mid lane just to be able to help out and scout things out where OG members are positioned.
They all click together beautifully, but we can now head back to the panel to think about what OG have to do differently coming into game 2.
Yes, we will be doing a lot of thinking as we look over these highlights brought to you by Aramco. JMR, last panel, you talked about around 16-20, that was their average age, but it turns out it's their average game time.
Oh, nice. You wrote that on the break.
I did.
That's what I saw you like, oh, what can I say? Well, I would say, boys, welcome to Chinese Dota,
Yes, indeed.
This is what happens,
It's a myth. Chinese Dota is not slow.
If anyone said that in the past, like 6 years, you've been wrong, but I think this game is the one to prove that the most. I mean, dead on. I just want you to rave about this. Dazzle, Naga, Winter Wyvern, my man.
Love it. I mean, it's just so many opportunities for the disengage. The lane even is really solid. You were talking about in our little green room, Marvo, that this combination of just the Naga and the Dazzle, right? You're able to get on top of someone with the Ensnare. You got 1 point into it, I think at level 4 or 5 on the Naga Siren. Poison Touch, Shadow Wave. Very, very easy to dish out a ton of damage. And it really felt like Amar was not enabled at all. 1, 7, and 0, as we can see. The big issue for mine, even though he's a fantastic player, Tiger felt like he didn't have any impact on the Viper, and that just goes back to the draft. We saw against TSM, OG wanted to flex the Viper a little bit. They wanted it to be the option of the position 3 or the position 4, but they picked it together with a Dragon Knight that doesn't have to be in the off lane. Slardar kind of has to be in the off lane. It's a rare game where you can put it into a position 1 and still have a lot of impact.
Exactly. And PSG.LGD figured that out. As you said, the Naga, we talked about the high armor. They also got the good lane of the Tiny versus Puck. It was an interesting bait by OG, right? Forced a Tiny mid. It didn't look like the best Tiny mid game, but that lane went so well. It was difficult to beat as we have the scoreboard by STC. But now it's important to look at the future. Everyone on this panel wants a 3-game series, but one person maybe a little bit more than others. JMR, what does OG do when they're facing a loss? What's the speech that they're given now?
Look, I think when you look at the scoreboard, you cannot really get too jaded because there's sometimes these things don't work out, and then you're like, oh my god, we're all bad. It's like, no, it's just the whole draft was disabled. I think now they have to go back and just think, how can we gain the game?
Right.
How can we bring it to them so they feel the pressure that we just felt? Because we do this to every team. In a way, they did to us what we normally did to other teams, and they maybe have not experienced this Naga with the Dazzle, with the NP. Now, I would like them to be confident about what they pick and hopefully think about, we're going to crush you.
Right.
What is the draft that allows you to crush you?
Who's usually the person on the team who takes the reins for that kind of line of thought?
I think that, look, in all the teams, it's like the conversation, you know, like, oh, I think I felt completely disabled here. I felt like this, and I want not to feel like that, you know?
Sure.
Because Dota, in many points, is a feeling. How does it feel when you're playing it?
Right.
So for us, obviously, my 2K Dota knowledge is not going to allow me to elaborate much. I just want them to feel confident because, you know, you feel the pressure. Now there's a lot of money on the line. You just play LGD. You just experience what LGD does to you because they do it to everybody else. Now what do you do to them, you know?
Yeah.
And on the LGD side, you know, we talked about perhaps some Chinese teams were sometimes lacking versatility in international tournaments. LGD has never been that team, historically speaking. I think we get to see it again. This draft, Enigma Galaxy's last draft in the best of 3, and the first draft of that series, literally all completely different in what they're attempting to do. How do you stop a team that has this many strategies?
You don't. It's as simple as that. I mean,
let them run over you.
Okay, well, thank you so much.
No worries. I mean, you got Faith Beyond and Y, right? TI6, Wings, that was their big thing. You just could not prepare against them. No 2 strats were the same, and it really feels like they're bringing that to the front. I mean, Faith Beyond played the Nature's Prophet. It's nothing like revolutionary that he's doing here, but just the little plays that he was able to make, you know, making sure that he could TP so that you weren't able to, he was actually able to claim the first blood as we get a nice little close-up on the trophy there, what they're playing for in addition to the prize pool. But I think, again, it's going to sound like I'm a little bit of the fanboy of the second pick.
A little bit of a fanboy.
Of the second pick, of the second pick.
Okay.
Because I think that's where LGD won this draft. They were able to respond to everything that OG had. You know, they had the Naga Siren, which was good against the heavy single target focus that they were able to pick with the last pick of the second phase, and then ending the draft out with a Winter Wyvern against Slardar, who is all physical damage, against a Dawnbreaker that we saw. You just ulti whenever Dawnbreaker is ulting as well. Easy cleanup. You know, you have multiple ways to disengage, start the fights. I was a little worried that they would have to be a little too passive and reactionary, but big kudos to the way that Faith Beyond, as well as Nothing to Say, played. They were playing so aggressively, almost never playing on their side of the map after the laning stage.
Now we might get to see OG on the second pick, right? And they get to be the ones that are reactive. And I'm interested now when that happens. Chuvash and Misha, I think they're the, well, also Amar, right? But they're strategists, Chuvash and Misha. I know in the Stockholm Major, they're a big deal. They were always on Discord on Johan's phone.
Yeah.
How does this process work with the rest of the team? When do they reveal those strats? So does everyone know how the best of 3 is going to go in the beginning?
So or it's really Amar, the one drafting.
Is it Amar entirely?
So the whole idea is like they have prepare, and you prepare a lot of things during the scrims and all that. And Amar is the one with the papers, and Amar is the one I think, okay, how you guys feel about this? And I think that him being selecting the heroes and clicking that, it also allows Misha to just be able to communicate. Because you know there is an element of I have to find the hero, where do I click? And Misha is constantly talking. We're doing this, how about we do this, how about we do this? Hey, they're gonna be doing this and they're gonna be doing that. So
I wonder if there's ever been a younger player that's been put into that role, because that is a lot of responsibility to take on. Was he 16?
I think he started drafting fully for, was 17, 18?
I think 17,
But still,
18.
like, I don't know Amar's age. I think he's 17 right now.
He drafted on the Major as well.
Exactly. Like, it's wild. And I do want to exacerbate this point because I know it seems dumb. Like, you think, oh, clicking buttons is just so easy, find the hero. but I have talked to so many teams that tell me that it's such a high-pressure situation. You see the timer constantly. You're like, I need to pick the right hero. I mean, we've seen misclicks happening in the big stage before.
In TI.
Yeah, exactly.
I was doing it in the show match. It was stressful.
It is, right? You see the timer, and there's something about visualizing the fact that you're losing time little by little that really affects them. But Amar seems like someone that would be unfazed by that, right?
Yeah, I think also Amar has a really good feeling for the game. He feels, okay, this is how we're going to win, this is how we're going to do it. Well, Misha can do a little bit more of the, let's say, mad scientist behind him.
Okay.
He's like, okay, I think we can do this and this and this. And Amar, I think it helps clear the communication.
No. That's fair enough. Well, let's get ready for the break, JMR. I'm sure that Misha will be standing in his pose here,
The
ready.
Commanding pose.
The commanding pose, ready for game
like,
2.
We're going that way.
Commander Misha, can he bring us to a third game, or will LGD show us their prowess as we get into game 2? Before that, though, we will take a small break and come back with the second game of the series.
Progress is a race that has no end. After every finish line, another challenge awaits. How can we continue to push innovation in a sport at the forefront of technology? This is how. Discover how Aramco and the Aston Martin Formula One team aim to meet Formula One's sustainable fuel targets. Aramco, powered by How.
Back with game 3, final game of the series. It's something that we've been seeing every single playoff game. This game is a decider, no second chances, no lower bracket. What team's gonna go home, what team will advance, we're gonna have to find out. What we're sure of though is not gonna see a Spirit Vessel. I think that's the one thing we got all clear. But now, Misery, when you have a game like this, I've noticed this a couple of times. So a team has a really good strategy, really good idea, and some small thing, whether it be like one pick or one item or one play, it makes the game go wrong, right? How do you make sure you stay on the right path afterwards? How do you keep that confidence in your strategy in your draft?
I mean, it depends so much on the specific scenario, right?
Course.
Like, I felt like LGD actually played their chance pretty well considering the situation they were in. Dawnbreaker like tried his best to carry this game, right? And I think that they may have overreacted to this Husker. I think the Husker pick was probably a bit questionable considering what we saw, how the lanes played out, and you could see that I said that the stuff about the tri-lane, but you could see both teams already had it in mind as well. Right. Like going into laning phase, Warlock was already angling towards top, and LGD was starting tri-lane, right? We even saw that like Smoke before the creep spawn to put this high ground ward, so they were definitely intending to do this. And if the game played out normally with Spectre buying normal items, it did look rough for OG early on. So it was a little bit the saving grace that the item choice, I think.
Sure. Danok, do you think they're gonna keep at the same script, same idea of like, you know, the stronger supports and lanes, trying to put OG on the back foot, being more the aggressive one?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with Misery. I think they were in a really good spot. I was strongly favoring LGD in that draft. So if they're able to turn it around, I think they're in still a good spot to be able to take this. But just on the point of how do you respond to a game like that, I think it depends on the players' personalities as well, right? Some people are going to have like... I think it's a little less so with more experienced players, but some might need a stern talking to. Some might need, like, you know, a kick up the butt to say, what were you doing? But some might need to be the softer touch, the nurturing, saying, don't worry about it. You played well with what you did, you know, all that sort of stuff. So
right, you mean going on to game 3, yeah. I mean, I guess we're gonna see how the early game plays out, even how the draft plays out. I'm sure that OG gained a lot of confidence winning that game, and it's more a matter of how can LGD, like, how do they decide to, you know, talk about this loss, because like we see this item choice and everything, but maybe they have an idea that it wasn't about that. Maybe it's about something else, right, for them.
Do you put any importance onto, like, if you can just glance over and see the enemy team standing there, body language and stuff like that, just seeing how they're feeling and then use that to hype your own team up, or do you stay very focused on your own guys?
I mean, you can do that. I think in this particular venue, it can be a bit hard to see because the border is like pretty high, but I think that can be a tool to use, right?
Yeah, because it seems like OG are still very, like, they're on a high right now. Like, they're playing very cohesive. They're all huddling around together, whereas, you know, LGD, they're kind of off in pairs a little bit. You know, you saw Y standing behind Ame there, obviously. Lane partners, Xiao8 was just in his mind, basically, about, okay, how are we going to be able to combat this? So maybe that's going to play a factor, but I really don't see these bans changing up all that much. Timbersaw already gone.
Yeah, and it looks like LGD has first pick this time, right? I wonder who chooses what, because against us, OG took first pick, and now it seems to be, I think OG might be favoring second pick.
Yeah, it seems like it.
Just because it seems like their Viper first pick is like a little bit figured out, so it might be better to choose second pick as it's the more stable way to get a good draft. And we see LGD pick up Tiny here first pick.
LGD has seemingly been the team most comfortable with first pick though. Like, they have strong 8th pick in general. Their draft starts to work with the synergy during the second phase as well, so we haven't seen too much issues with that either. I know second pick is favored, but...
Yep, something a little bit different though. We get to see a lot of sustain, a lot of tankiness. I really like this from both teams. I think we're going to see a lot of, like, team fights that are going to come down to a couple of clutch moves rather than just an instant pickoff.
Yeah, a DK Phoenix is an opening that OG has played before. I think it's a very solid opening that can go, has a lot of team fight and instant stun, can go a lot of ways. I think it's good against Tiny in particular. Phoenix, like, he can't really kill the egg. You have the Sunray to chop his, you know, high HP pool, and DP, like, a strong hero into DK, but into Phoenix not particularly. So I think it's pretty even. I think both heroes kind of like both teams have heroes that counter each other and also not. So I think very even opening here. DP probably going to be the offlaner here, right? And then they once again have this option of putting Tiny 4 and Tiny mid.
Yeah.
And for OG, it's like the DK has been Amar's hero in the past, but I've also seen them play it on BCM mid and going Midas on the DK.
And that's the thing with LGD, like we've been saying before, they have first pick, so they're not going to be able to round out the draft exactly how they want to set up these lanes. So I think if, for example, like you mentioned, BZM ends up being the one playing the DK, then you might want to lane the Death Prophet into him, but you probably don't have that choice, right? Because you have to reveal your hand first before OG does.
Yeah.
So it's a real bounty or benefit of having that second pick. By the way, it was OG that won the selection coin flip.
Choosing second pick.
Yeah, they chose second pick, and then
That's what I
LGD
thought.
chose Dire.
Okay.
We've even seen Tiger play the Dragon Knight as a position 4, right?
Right.
So they've even got a little bit of extra flexibility on top of everything else.
I don't think we're going to see that here, though. I think that is very much a Viper-specific strategy, because it makes your enemy guessing. I think here it's most likely going to be just a core hero.
And you've got a Phoenix to enable you, so you want to make sure you're getting the most out of that core. We've even seen a couple of DK position 1s, mostly in the Southeast Asian region. Probably not going to happen this time around, but yeah, any core position, it feels like this is going to be really strong.
That's true. Yeah.
Bloodseeker actually like super good against Death Prophet. You don't really get ruptured, but it would actually be good for both teams because it's also a very potent hero against the Phoenix.
Yep.
But you see LGD ban it out, and then Arc Warden again is a hero that I mean,
flexed.
Yeah, I guess we played it once, but it's pretty much only OG who has had success with this hero.
Yeah.
But it is really strong, and it's really annoying to deal with as the game progresses.
And it seems like you can't counter either because Arc Warden's so used to playing against counters. It's almost like a staple, right?
Yeah, it's also there's like the new build is also kind of hard to measure because it's like the Octarine Core Aghanims, right? It's not the usual bots Arc Warden that like split pushes. It's like this weird kind of hybrid teamfight. Yeah, I don't know. It's a bit hard to understand where this hero is at, so I can understand the ban.
Yep. What do you think LGD are leaning more towards with regards to their position 1? We've seen in response to Phoenix and even to a lesser extent the DK, something like a Juggernaut who you know you can just spin with your Aghanim Shard, with your Maelstrom, have a lot of attack speed and movement to be able to deal with both heroes. Lifestealer as well, kind of in the same boat. It's one of the big reasons, like with the Bloodseeker ban, the Aghanim Shard's effective. Open Wounds kind of similar as well.
I think it's less likely than AX. I think Juggernaut and Ursa both look pretty good here for LGD. Ursa being super strong against both these heroes. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see either of those.
Yeah,
if they don't end up taking the carry though here in the second phase, I could see those heroes getting banned last phase. So
they're kind of forced into doing something like picking up their lane pairing. What's going to make them feel the most confident?
Banned out Io, huh?
Io,
interesting ban.
That is interesting.
Wonder what they are expecting the Io combo to be. Maybe Io Luna or something. I'm not sure. Don't see this hero that much.
Good amount of mixed damage, right? For the DK, obviously you need some magic to be able to deal with him. You can just hit the egg, have the glaives bouncing around. It's not too bad. I'm just trying to think what position 5 they might try and pair together with the Juggernaut if they do end up going down that route.
So well, the Bane, they've actually done these 3 heroes together 2 other times in this tournament.
Yes.
With the Bane here. No, it was. I don't know who it is against. I don't remember, but they had these 3 heroes, and there's also a combo that like Bane gives you the catch and the single target disable, strong laner, whereas Phoenix gives you the team fight and the damage, right? So it's a very good support duo combo.
And it kind of forces the Tiny into being a position 4 now, right? Because you've got that minus damage, that damage reduction component. Level 10 on the DK, you go into the talent that gives you an extra 55%. Level 1 Enfeeble, 45% additive. Tiny does 0 right-click damage. So that's something that they really tried to emphasize last time they played it, and it wouldn't surprise me to see if they did it again.
I think also you don't talk about this much about the Dragon Knight, but the fact that he gets at 10 he gets the damage reduction talent, and it's like you just mentioned, like that's a really big factor of Dragon Knight.
It's such a strong timing, right? You've got obviously the Elder Dragon form to be able to push. If they try and respond to it, you just turn around and say, well, you probably don't have BKBs. You have no way of getting rid of Breathe Fire or Enfeeble. Do you think LGD might consider going something that has a Dispel component just to make sure that that isn't going to be as big of a factor?
I mean something like Abaddon actually looks really powerful here for LGD now that you mention it. So I would not be surprised to see Abaddon plus something.
Abba plus Jug, just because you can be a Manta builder as well. I mean, I know it's a little awkward doing 2 melee heroes.
Yeah, I mean it could work, but it's a Warlock Monkey. All right.
Okay.
It's a strong lane, good against the DK if it is going to be a position 3. But now, of course, like we were saying, there's nothing stopping them putting the DK mid. I suppose they could flex the DP, but yeah.
No, I think it's also it's nice 2 picks in a sense that you know you're still kind of flexing the Tiny and the Monkey King. The Monkey can be 4, Tiny can be mid, Monkey can be carry. So you leave OG guessing a little bit. So I like that, but I think the Warlock matches the team fight, which is nice. In a way, it's good against Bane too, because you can cancel Fiend Script. Secures the safe lane. It's just a good hero in a lot of ways. Although I do think the Abaddon would have been really strong in this spot. Like I think I would have liked that more.
When do you think this Monkey King, if it is going to be played as a position 1, would be looking to pick up the BKB? Like second item, really try and get super aggressive and consistently fight into the relatively long cooldowns that OG has?
Yeah, I guess the Monkey King build.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen different builds. I think this is also why this hero is coming back a bit as a carry, is because you can build it multiple ways, right? You can do the Echo Saber or even the Fusel Blade, like we've seen Miracle do. Or you can build like the Battle Fury. You can even buy like Desolator. You can even buy the Midas. So it has a lot of ways to build. And I think right now you might not know exactly what he's going to buy. You're going to have to wait and see how greedy does OG get, right? If they go really greedy, then you can probably, well, then you have 2 ways. You can try to punish it with the Echo Saber or whatever, or you can try to out-greed it with the Battle Fury. Potentially the Vessel.
Nice.
You know?
Yeah, that's always a great idea.
Nah.
No Vessel Monkey King, please.
The Batrider, though, I'm interested in.
Yes.
Is this a Batrider mid that we're looking at, or perhaps?
Yeah. No, it's definitely
mid.
It's definitely mid. I don't see Amar playing this hero. I think Batrider is kind of a weird hero right now. There's so often where Batrider looks like an amazing pick, like here as well. Traditionally, Batrider is super strong against Monkey King, Death Prophet. You know, they have no way of removing Napalm. They have no way of canceling Lasso. But sometimes this hero can be a bit of a debate because the item build is very slow. The travels into BKB, it's actually a lot of gold before you're online. Lasso has a very long cooldown. Firefly has a pretty long cooldown too. So this hero can be very hard to actually play, I think. I'm interested to see somebody like BCM, you know, like rank 1 player play this hero, because like it can be a debate sometimes.
I'm curious because LGD has been the team that's been banning Batrider the most. They've actually had, especially as last phase, they always ban the Batrider, or you tend to. Why do you think they are specifically afraid of Batrider?
I think it's a good hero at kind of disrupting the tempo a little bit, going for those one-on-one pickoffs. It's a pretty strong laner as well, and I still feel like the way to beat LGD is to come out on top in that laning stage, prevent Arme to be able to transition into being able to farm. What I'm looking at now with OG as well is I feel like DK is their only tower push, so I'm going to want to see something really strong for Yuragi also to be able to not only have a good one-to-one core matchup against these really tanky position 1 heroes, core heroes that you've got on LGD, but also how you're going to enable that to progress into the next parts of the map, because I feel like Phoenix, if you give Tiger the potential to scale, he is a fantastic Phoenix player. So many times I see him as having the same net worth as the enemy offlaner.
But like I think OG's pick is a very much, I mean, they obviously have heroes in mind right now, but I think that it's dependent on what LGD picks as well, right? They do have the last pick. They want to counter that as hard as they can. And right now, I'm looking at something like Puck. Can be a good hero for LGD right now. It's pretty good against Batrider traditionally. You don't really suffer against him in lane. You can always like coil him pre-BKB. Maybe after the Aghanims changed, so before the Aghanims stun through BKB, it doesn't anymore. So that's a little bit nerf against in that particular matchup. But
do you think you could even Storm Spirit on LGD's side right now? It's one of those heroes that doesn't hate going against the Batrider, right? Because you just buy a stick, you're going to be spamming out your remnants, and it's a great way of being able to get in onto those backlines to deal with the Phoenix and the Bane.
Yeah, I could see that working. Storm Spirit is also kind of a hero that's it's not really, I don't think people really know how strong this hero is, right? After the nerfs and everything, like we've seen it being played a couple of times, but it looks strong, you know, when it's played.
In the right game, it certainly is formidable. But yeah, no Puck going to be coming out. But again, I still feel like it's a pretty good Storm game right now.
Okay. Most of the other Spirit Bros don't feel great because the Batrider kind of crushes those lanes.
Beastmaster, okay, so mid DP.
He was not expecting that.
Yeah. No, that's actually in
really
a way
good.
a really cool pick, because this hero is also really good against Batrider in the game. It's really good against Bane in lane. You get the aura against the Phoenix egg, right? And
they got a ton of vision, right?
Maybe they're even flexing the DP to 4 potentially on Sync Q and having the potential of putting Tiny mid. I'm not sure, but like the option, it's definitely something that they could consider.
Sorry, I just can't get over that not like this from Amar coming through. I mean, also the Bane, the Phoenix, pretty terrible at dealing with like split push and a lot of these sorts of things.
Yeah.
Right? Like
No, this pick is very good, I think.
You just
actually
don't clear out waves at all, and you have to commit so much as a Bat Rider. Like you have to commit your body to be able to do it. And you know, with the Hawk, with potentially Monkey King just dancing around the trees, you're gonna find him out. You're gonna be able to pick him off. So yeah, really solid pick. And well, PA, one of the stronger heroes into the Beastmaster with being able to clear out the boars, at least in the laning stage. But yeah, really solid, even from the first pick, being able to get that Beastmaster at the very end of the draft.
There's a lot of strength to the PA, right? Like you said, the Beastmaster also bursts down DP. Usually that's what she's weak to. At one point, that's going to be an issue. But PA versus Monkey King, that can be an issue sometimes, right? The extra armor, PA jumps into the ring, PA does not get out of the ring.
It's a little challenging for sure.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking as well, like we were always talking about the attack speed as well. So that's something else that Beastmaster is going to be providing for dealing with the egg, just providing that inner beast aura, 40 extra attack speed. Suddenly, even these heroes that don't normally deal with it can actually contribute towards the team fight.
I'm very excited to see this game 3. Only one of these teams will remain. And I really wish we could just keep on watching this best of 3 over and over and over again. But unfortunately, that is not going to be the case. So let's go to the final game with Gareth and Lacoste.
Yeah, we all wish for Groundhog Day to be Dota 2 style, just repeating, you know, TI finals over and over again. But one game separates these two teams from the grand finals, Lacoste, with a hefty prize pool waiting for them.
Yeah, absolutely. And looking at both of these drafts, they wanted to make a little bit of more change in the end. It feels like they, I'm talking about PSG.LGD, that they needed to have a bit more attack speed to be able to deal with the Phoenix egg, because like none of their heroes, like Monkey King's job is not to go inside the fight and just deal with the egg. Also, they picked Monkey into Phoenix. A lot of the times it's the other way around, where you want to match up the team fight that they have and like drop that Phoenix ulti inside the Wukong's command as well, potentially. They have good ways of protecting the egg this time around. We're talking about the Dragonite stun, 2 BKB piercing abilities with Lasso and Fiend's Grip, so I feel like it's a pretty good Phoenix game when we talk about that one. In terms of the laning stage, Monkey plus Warlock, they shifted Dead Prophet to the mid lane. Nothing to say against Bat Rider from BZM. Bat Rider does consume a lot of mana. Like he needs to get stuff done early on. Looking at potential rotations, that could be rotation from Taiga and extra slow with the dive on Dead Prophet. They might be able to burst her down. I want to see like how this matchup is going to work out in the end.
Misha trying to set up on Jin-Q. Y takes the Nightmare off him, so gets the Tiny out of danger. And Nothing to Say has already scouted up onto Radiant High Ground, and I think they've got a very good idea of where this OG Observer Ward is. They were pinging out where it could potentially be. In fact, OG are the ones to place a sentry down, expecting the opposite. The Dire Ward is not there. They will just move back around to get the bounty runes. LGD.
Oh, Misha, he used 2 Nightmares already. This is one of the most expensive spells, level 1 in the game, 165 mana.
It's very expensive. He's got 2 mangoes left, but limited resources going into laning stage as he gets his high ground ward up there. So we watch Faith Bian and Jin-Q down bottom. Beastmaster Tiny against a PA Bane. Misha, his main job here is just going to be tank spells for Yuragi. Get that farm rate going as quickly as you can. Well, the potential for Faith Bian and Jin-Q here to get kills pretty high once they get a couple of levels under their belt.
I love Tiny Fours who start with the 3 grab, and Misha using a Nightmare trying to harass Jin-Q not very efficiently here. I would prefer if this is a brain set, because there's going to be a lot of harassment. He needs to get in, soak up some of the damage, as you mentioned. With the Nightmare, he's not going to be able to do that. Yeah. Has a lot of tangos, though. He started with 9 tangos, going to be sharing tangos to Phantom Assassin, who does have a healing salve, going for Ring of Health as the first item. This is one of those things where you can change things around, especially if you like get a First Blood on Phantom Assassin, then Orb of Corrosion or just Orb of Venom feels nice. But it does delay your Battle Fury timing.
Oh, 20 HP.
He's gonna go for it.
He's diving. Cutting into the trees, Jin-Q in behind tier 1, but realizes that Misha has got himself out of reach. And up top, Tiger near death as well, as Y follows him back. Has the level 1 Fatal Bond to clear out Creep Wave, and of course do damage back to the DK. And peeking into the mid lane, BZM currently 8-2. dead even lane with a DP and the Batrider sharing farm.
I'm mostly looking at this bottom lane. Phantom Assassin, 5 CS, Beastmaster on 7, has a point in a boar. I don't think Phantom Assassin deals that well, especially when paired up with Bane. Once you get the level 3, we're talking about the boars versus Phantom Assassin matchup, then it's gonna get a little bit more difficult because they have a lot of HP on those boars, and Fate Beyond is gonna put another point in it once he reaches level 3.
X, then you need a Brain Sap and a Dagger and a jump as well. Oh, Fatal Bonds, Tiger. Jingu stacks as well, but it's the Bonds that will take him down. First blood for White. It's not looking good for OG in these side lanes. Jingu battling with Misha as well. And like you said, Faith Beyond just having a completely free time down here under no pressure whatsoever. Even has the magic stick. Both of them, in fact, to deal with that dagger and the damage. Has nothing to say. Oh, TP's back to his tier 1. Firefly with a napalm on him, it's a scary prospect.
It is, nothing to say, adjusting his item build, going for the magic wand and boots of speed, then going for bottle. We see a rotation.
Tiger's in, diving forward. Flame break, pushing nothing to say back, and a sticky napalm charge is on him, we're gonna find the kill.
That's a big one, good rotation from Tiger, understanding that if they kill Dead Prophet, she will need to walk back to the lane. And also, he's going for the rune. BZM wants to pick up a 3-minute bounty rune.
Over on the Dire side, stealing it away from LGD. Yuragi and Misha turned on by Faith Beyond. Nightmare is there, but the Bane just getting tagged up by the axes of the Beastmaster, and it looks like Jinkyu is all right as Yuragi had the Nightmare put back on him.
Also, the thing about Beastmaster against Phantom Assassin matchup is if you're trying to go for the boars, if you try to kill him, that means you're committing with your daggers, which is free mana for the enemy team, especially heroes who do consume a lot of mana in the laning stage, like Beastmaster and this Tiny.
And it also means it's less damage on your opponents, right? You're not trading regen with them, you're giving them regen. Wise doing a pretty good job here keeping Amar at bay, but now he's at level 3.
1.3k gold already spent by Bane for consumables.
DK stunning back on the monkey, halting their progress forwards. Jinkyu very low, pops a Fairy Fire very early, avalanche there on the 2. Faith Beyond will keep on whacking the PA as they try to bring Yuragi down, but it's OG that claim the kill first. Body blocks, Misha doesn't quite get in front of Faith Beyond well enough. Oh, the blur, the evasion, but the kill is there for the Beastmaster in the end.
Fate Beyond Beastmaster, was always something that teams were afraid of. He's level 5.5, 4 minutes at 40 seconds, so it's gonna be very difficult. We're talking about the Helm of the Dominator 5-6 minutes into the game.
Yeah.
And their heroes, they don't deal well with the creeps. Like, maybe Batrider can kill it, but he needs to commit with the Firefly. So that's going to be very difficult. Allowing Fate Beyond off to a good start might be a bit too tricky. And now we see these 2 boars that he has in the lane. They can't deal with it. Misha, constantly low on mana.
Yeah, so is that the reason Yuragi here, Ring of Health, with a Band of Elven Skin? You mentioned the Orb of Corrosion, it can be a little bit weird,
you can't
right?
afford to go for Orb of Corrosion. You can get it on Phantom Assassin.
If you're winning.
Yes, if you're like off to a really good start and then you're snowballing. Otherwise, it's 1,000 gold commitment, delaying your Battle Fury, so most of the time you don't want to go for it. And
it doesn't help you jungle really either. You need a bit of regen, you need more damage. Orb of Corrosion, more of a laning item. As Y, tracked back by Tiger's Phoenix. He's got Shadow Word and he'll be under tier 1 soon. Gets through the damage over time. They are there. They're eyeing up this DP mid though. Look at Misha arriving as well. Both supports coming in towards mid, and LGD looking to try and defend the DP as best they can.
Batrider just hit level 7, has 1 level advantage on Dead Prophet, saving a point for potential lasso play.
With everyone in the mid lane, it leaves these side lanes a little more open. Wise got clarity himself, not going to traverse back to base just yet. BZM making the move bottom, jump in from Yuragi, flame break, pushes Faith Beyond back, doesn't get the roar out, so the lasso is going to stun him up, but finally stuns back into them. They didn't get the finish. Jin-Q, and nothing to say now, looking to play aggressively. But it feels like a bit of a failed rotation from the Death Prophet.
Getting that roar off, not enough control. Had 10 stick charges, gets roar, extra move speed, gets out of the trouble, and has a full helm coming next to him. Nothing to say. Now with the exorcism, this is a dead tower because they used everything. They used Batrider, Phantom Assassin is pushed out of the lane. Bane doesn't provide you with much.
Oh, you're right. They've got Catapult Wave there. Hit away at that tower. He's not using Exo.
Still holding on to Exo. I think that's pretty smart because they can skip the wave, kill the tower, and potentially use that Exo to go to the mid lane. And Beastmaster will take over the bottom.
That's very clever. They'll glyph it up, OG, but Faith Bian arrives back here. Jin-Q looks like he's gonna TP back across with Y to defend the mid lane as well. So a free tier 1 objective claimed by LGD very early on.
This is what you call objective-based gaming, right?
It absolutely is. I've lost sight of the Monkey King for a little bit now. Arme has dipped into the jungle.
Arme going for a different item build, what we usually see when he plays Monkey King. Seems like Battle Fury would be a bit too slow, and he's thinking about, Dragonite has a high armor. I need that extra magic damage. I'll hold that thought.
Man, they toss the bat into the monkey. I don't know if Arme's going to be happy about that. Goes for the TP, doesn't get cancelled. Now nothing to say with the XO, but the Nightmare holds him back, transferred to Tiny, and the DP will kill off Tiger. BZM fireflies away from these LGD heroes, and he will get out of the reach of Faith Bian, who was sliding into that aggressive position. But straight onto the tier 1.
Yeah, pretty similar to what happened in game 1, where they brought extra people. Faith Bian was moving to the mid lane with Nature's Prophet, and now doing the same thing. Exo still up and running. This is going to be a tower, Helm of the Dominator. We mentioned it, like they don't have heroes that deal well with it, so 2 towers already gone. And to go back to my point about the Ame's itemization, Maelstrom pierces through evasion every single time it procs, so like double the value. You're playing against Dragonite, high armor. Amar on the top lane didn't talk about him, doing Amar stuff, farming up until he reaches a critical point. And look at the item build, thinking about going that Octarine, like Ether Lance, Manta style type of a build. Oh,
nice deny.
Q gets the deny.
Amar can't stun him as the TP's out. And BZM very focused on clearing out the stacks that OG have made for themselves in their own triangle, so a lot of money will be coming in towards the Batrider there. Phoenix and the Bat making 7 stacks between them. Ancients and that large camp, so a nice influx of money there will get him the Boots of Travel and 3 neutral items, 4 neutral items, every neutral item for the Batrider.
Let's see, does he want to use Trusty Shovel, dig stuff out? Way too many items, not gonna try to refill his bottle.
So many options. DP. Mainly lane creeps, about 2,000. Buildings, of course, picking up. Neutral's one of the main focuses from the Bat there. But OG trying to carve themselves a bit of the map. Top lane Amar will sit there after that tier 1's down, and PA can start that kind of meandering move up towards the triangle and that top lane. Now that the Batrider has had his piece of the pie, got his bots.
They might have been scouted by the Hawk.
A smoke
this
pop.
smoke.
Level 5Y doesn't have the golem, but upheaval, slowing Batrider down to a crawl.
Pretending that he's level 6, being there, bought the tome.
The threat of the non-existent golem.
I mean, you can check the levels, but yeah, you might be afraid that he might use the courier, bring the tome, turn the fight around. Y is gonna bring the tome, so he's gonna be level 6 after using it. 2 supports on OG also need to get level 6. Both of those very level dependent.
Yeah, they're just planting themselves, stopping any movement into that bot jungle, while Jin-Q found by the 3 of OG. BZM the one to take the final hit. As Yuragi and Tiger holding onto that mid lane, but you can feel this coming, the wave of pressure, it's almost ready to break. Nothing to say, Y and Faith Bian.
This sentry near tier 2 tower on the mid lane, this is something that PSG.LGD, that they have been abusing quite a lot, planting Observer Ward behind the tower and also keeping it for a little later. So this sentry ward seems like OG already made an adjustment.
Yeah,
because it does provide you with a lot of like vision in terms of whether they want to smoke, who's showing on the lanes, and also does allow you to play and go for easy pickoffs.
Yeah, it sees the Hawks as well. Beastmaster giving the vision, sending Hawks all over the place. We can see they're sitting just on the triangle. Scouts BZM. That's what LGD want to angle towards. GQ from the south side. The rest of them swarming up the ramp. Staircase. And GQ will toss back the Bane. Exorcism comes out of nothing to say. And yeah, they want to clear through this triangle and make sure they steal away gold from OG. They don't want to fight. OG want to keep this PA safely farming back in these deeper pockets, hidden away from LGD. So that for quite some time going to be without one of their heroes. You know, a lot of 4v5 fights incoming.
This is a big chunk of gold for PSG.LGD. Commitment in terms of using EXO. Will not have it for 2 minutes, but yeah, big stacks being taken.
Pushes the DP closer and closer to this BKB rush. Treads Wand, of course, has the bottle, the Windlace, a few little stopgap items there to build up towards that massive team fight ability with the BKB. Monkey King doing a similar thing, right? You mentioned that Maelstrom. There's the timing on it. 46 seconds faster than the patch fastest. That's not average, that is fastest.
That actually is the fastest. It says new record.
I should read the top thing first.
Yeah, absolutely, because this is a farming tool for Monkey King. And also, like when I talk about the carry to carry, how they match up against each other. Monkey King having extra armor. Oh, this is a big pick-off if they can get it.
Can they start it off? No, Misha too far away. And the smoke from the rest of LGD. Oh, they see Tiger. Nice avalanche, stops him mid-dive. The toss is there, and a kill on the Phoenix. A nice pick by LGD. Unfortunately, not much they can do in terms of objectives, bot or mid. They've already got the towers, but they'll put them in good stead to maybe get some of these wards replaced as they were dewarded by this mass amount of sentries from OG. Arme looking to solo BZM with the Wukongs and Boundless, dropping him to below half.
A bit difficult. They needed to use Rock inside Wukongs to be able to get that kill. Extra lockdown, couple of hits from the Golem, but why a bit too far away. And to go back to like carry to carry, like Ame is gonna be fight ready in the next 2-3 minutes, while Phantom Assassin still needs to farm up Battle Fury into BKB. And look at where Ame was. This is his pattern on the top lane, and now switching back to bottom lane after Beastmaster took the tower.
Yeah, it's primarily lane creeps, right? Arme has been safe. No real threat from him. He's been in the lane while we saw that PA get kicked out of her bot lane quite early and had to move into that jungle. A massive gap, right? 900 gold difference in the lane creeps. Monkey King, of course, having a lot of farm on the neutrals and ancients. He's 7.4k. Having a perfect game so far. GQ getting jumped.
He stunned the creep, I believe, yeah?
Yeah, Amar, uncharacteristic mistake, getting tossed around inside the upheaval. Roar comes out from Faith Bian as they want to try and focus the Bane at the same time. Flame Break and the Nightmare. Golem dropped. Kill off Amar. Why? Not messing around, just the big old cooldown ulti. Straight for that Dragon Knight. I can help them push, of course.
I think they're going to go rogue with it, because they have Golem to tank it, they have Exo running, and teamfight from OG is pretty mediocre at the moment. Like, they have Phoenix Egg, they have Fiend's Grip, they haven't used those abilities since they got it. So 5 minutes without 2 supports being able to use their ultis, and they're not going to contest this.
Yeah, and if you have one hero dead, we know that the PA doesn't want to join just yet. So OG is still, you know, a 3v5 in effect. And an easy Roshan for LGD, grabbed up by Arme, and you were saying he's going to be fight ready soon. This makes him even more bold to be able to jump in to these team fights, use that Wukongs aggressively.
Next Exorcism, it's going to be level 2, so that means 16 spirits instead of 8. And you'll also have Monkey King with Aegis and the BKB, so their timing is going to be pretty big. You're also going to have BKB on Dead Prophet, so they're going to feel very comfortable coming into the fight. GQ, the bounce back with the Tumbler's Toy, actually manages to get out of trouble.
Upheaval's so good against heroes like Bat Rider.
Oh yes, well, this is why is maxing it out. He knows he's an experienced Warlock player, one of the best ones. Put only 2 points into Shadow Word, maxed out Upheaval, and now going for the Fatal Bonds.
Yeah, Bat Rider, one of those heroes that wants to keep chasing people. You can't do that when you're turned into a slug. Trying to play top now with Amar showing on the wave. BZM being a little bit sneakier, but there is dire vision up there that will spot their moves. LGD going to use that information, come down and farm very efficiently through mid down towards bottom lane. They are protecting Arme by having their bodies in this bottom jungle, very forward. So if OG wanted to smoke and try and catch the Monkey King, who would be one of their primary targets, you know, even though he has Aegis, you could think about killing him twice with Grip and Lasso. You've got to break through the barrier of why Faith Bian and Jinkyu up front.
Team fights are going to be very difficult for OG because we're talking about EXO, Beastmaster Roar, vision provided from the Hawk, so Bane doesn't get to play the game. You know that he's going to get stunned. Initiation from the Batrider also going to be very limited. We're talking about Boots of Travel, BKB, no Blink Dagger yet. Jinkyu thinking about going in. This Tumbler's toy, a lot of value. Did manage to get a couple of early kills with it.
I love the noise it makes as well, a little spring boing. Wonderful sound effects from the Tumbler's toy. Well, there's the tier 2, unlocking the outpost for LGD. They're all grouped up as if they want to smoke. Looks like a hard hit in towards the triangle. I see Uragi, the Phantom Assassin, not the one they're going for though. Tossing Misha around, focusing the Bane rather. Let Uragi get out of there.
A bit premature exorcism there. Maybe they thought they're gonna commit. I don't see any vision. They maybe caught Batrider coming in from the outpost, and yeah, they're picking it out. Because there's not going to be anything done with this EXO. We'll need to wait 2 minutes. Looking at the items on side of PSG.LGD, loving the Lincoln Sphere. On Monkey King, you're playing into Bane, instant stun from a Dragon Knight, Lasso as well. And also nothing to say. Getting some extra armor, going for that Lotus Orb. Like just a casual plate mail against Phantom Assassin, and then
he's jumped the Tiny, but Arme with the Boundless and the Wukong, they're in on Tiger, dive away. He's got the Supernova to come into play. They've killed off Jinkyu, and Arme is on the run with his BKB up. They need to bail away from that egg. As Tiger dives in again, the blink back by Amar, focusing nothing to say. The Death Prophet cleaved through by the PA and Misha's Bane as OG. They'll take the Monkey's Aegis. Y and Faith Bian were far too distant from this fight. They need to protect the Monkey King.
He needs to roar.
He's gripped up and there's no saving him. Boundless Strike won't do a damn thing, and the Monkey King is dropped. They'll turn on the PA, the Dragon whacking into Uragi, but he jumps across to the right. OG, they'll lose their carry, but they get so much out of this trade. Jinkyu with the Avatos. They want Tiger, but another dive away. Keeps himself healed and topped up, while Y and Jinkyu are trapped down in this bottom jungle now. They don't belong here.
Jinkyu thinking about going in one more time, has combo ready, will scout him out.
He wants Tiger and he'll get him. Amar is fatal bonded, so these blinks are being constantly cancelled out. They can't make any further jumps, need to TP home.
Y was not in vicinity to be able to drop the rock immediately. Also, a bit of a mistake there from Ame, using a BKB before Aegis ran out, so he respawns, doesn't have anything, and they slow him down. A couple of sticky napalm charges, bounced him back, and yeah, control coming out from the Dragon Knight. There was no EXO in that fight, because I mentioned it, like a bit premature usage there. And they got the kill on Bane only, so yeah, let's see that fight one more time. A good egg coming up from Taiga where no one wanted to commit. Like, they need a Beastmaster to be close, and then maybe Monkey can go and help out. Otherwise, I don't think he can do it.
Yeah, a really good initiation from OG. You know, finding the Tiny first, making sure that LGD aren't the ones getting the jump. Perfect execution gives them that chance to take the Aegis and momentum and the wind out of the wings of LGD. But we will have some big teamfight ultis coming up. You know, Roar is ready, EXO's ready. They won't have the Golem, but Fatal Bonds might be enough. Oh, Amar, so quick.
Nicely done, good reactions. Amar was changing his item belt, thinking whether he needs a Force Staff, but gonna go for Ether Lens. Bigger cast range on the Dragon Tail. And yeah, well, you turn that into Octarine Core. You know that Amar, he loves to play greedy. He loves to play for the late game. Then you get Manta, Octarine, Aghanim Scepter. Still, it's a lot of time. We're talking about 40, 45 minutes into the game. But once you get to that build, it's super powerful.
Yeah, you're looking for the synchronization with PA a little bit later on. She'll have BKB in about 1,000 gold. But even after that, she's got a lot of items to check off her list. And Amar can keep on scaling with her. That makes sense when you've got Batrider, of course, that more magic damage, utility-focused hero that Amar wants to be a secondary core alongside the Phantom Assassin. Jin-Q lands the avalanche, gets the toss in towards the dragon. Blur and Phantom strike away thanks to Misha, and they roar the bait. Yuragi might be able to get out of danger here as they do use Exo. Misha being taken down by the ghost. There we go, another combo. The toss back not coming. He's running back and forth. Yuragi, he's got TP, but there's really no way out of this, is there? Jin-Q has his number, surrounded by LGD as they come back into the mid lane. Amar, he's just right-clicked down. I didn't even need a stun to stop him from TPing home.
Yeah, this is the fight that I kind of expected the PSG.LGD to go for, where like the previous execution was not as good. Oh, they almost catch Taiga.
So close.
Ame, in the end, going for Mjolnir. There's going to be a lot of procs. We're talking about Shard from Dragonite and also Batrider Firefly. So you know that that's going to be procking. Another record broken by Ame.
New record!
I mean, he did broke a record in the previous game with the Spirit Vessel purchase in the game 2. That didn't end up too well.
Is that a good record to break? I don't know.
This one is. This one feels much better.
Spot on timing from him. Oh yes, fantasy points. Warlock. My favorite hero, Warlock. He's been planting a lot of wards, so he's up at 16.8. Net worth down at 4.6, but a big difference between the Dire supports and the Radiant ones. You know, Tiger, yes, 6.7, but you look at this Bane and he's incredibly poor. And this comes down to, like you were saying 10 minutes ago, 15 minutes ago, that they've not been able to really latch onto people with these smoke ganks, the grips, the nightmare setups, which we've seen from OG throughout this tournament. You know, Misha's Bane has been flawless. Maybe this smoke will work out for them, though. They want to get something done.
Radiant's top tower has fallen.
Smoking up, expecting LGD to be around this triangle and maybe, you know, on a warding mission, but there's no one here. They're all sat around mid lane, looking to bunker down, defend tier 1. Keep Ame farming around the Ancients as they stack them up.
Batrider does have a Blink Dagger, so initiation is going to be much easier. There's going to be a follow-up onto Dragonite stun potentially. Lotus Orb done on Nothing to Say and the Haste Rune.
He's using it
this is the
preemptively
best
as well.
item that they can get in this game. We're talking about Batrider, Dragonite stun, Bane Fiend's Grip. It's going to be very difficult, especially if they prematurely use it, as you mentioned.
LGD now, their turn to smoke. I mean, speaking of prematurely, Exo used up, but the jump in from Jin-Q, finding the catch, the avalanche toss on DK, as he's burst down quickly by that percentage base down to the Spirit Siphon.
And Roche is up. Let's see if Y's gonna scout it out. Yes, he will. Dragonite has no buyback. I don't know if they can go and take a fight, because this Roshan drops so quickly. We're talking about the Beastmaster, Exorcism still running for another 15 seconds.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Yeah, the Ancient Black Dragon there helping out as well. Second Roche going LGD's way. And we're still waiting really to see what kind of impact Yuragi can have on this Phantom Assassin. Definitely one of those kind of ninja heroes, right, that can come out 25, 30 minutes into the game and suddenly blow up a support, get that momentum going, get a couple of big items. So far it's been very quiet from the PA, only 3.6k damage dealt. Yeah, the lowest in the game.
Needs more items, definitely. We're talking about Deso, potentially getting a shard to even have more, then getting a basher. It's a bit of a difficult game. Yuragi still needs to be able to get some farm. The rest of the team will need to protect him.
But you never know when that sleeper hero is going to strike. Amar, he gets on top of Tiny, he's got Lotus Orb on him, Avalanche in, and Arme straight towards the Phoenix. Nice sleep, you're right. And then we come with a golden drop. Tiger buys back straight off the bat as the Wukong zones them away. OG in full retreat mode with Amar still stuck in the middle of an awful lot of damage.
Oh, Hawk stun.
Yeah, they tried to catch Misha. BZM on the run. Bane, no way out of there, and Nothing to Say picks up a double kill.
one thing that PSG.LGD does extremely well is playing around their heroes, just understanding who needs to stand where, not overlapping any of their abilities, and also protecting each other. Instant Lotus Orb from Nothing to Say after Dragon Knight stun, and yeah, they will go for the high ground. Still need to respect Lasso a little bit.
Oh, hello. Yeah, they know there's no BKB, don't they? PA dead. The roar on the courier. Well, he made sure it died. Lasso back will drag Tiny in towards tier 4s. The Phoenix Sun Rain down Jin Q. But the tier 3's dead and the racks are wide open. So LGD just looking for this structural damage. Boundless Strike off the mark, and they've got Lotus in onto Arme as well. Tiger, just a dive and a spam of the Fiery Spirit.
They could have potentially went for another tier 3 tower if that roar connects on Batrider. They definitely get a kill. They have enough physical damage to be able to bring him down and maybe transition. A little bit of uncharacteristic mistake there from Fate Beyond.
You say mistake? He says the courier's dead for a long time.
Can we see that again? Maybe there was something on the courier that I'm not aware of.
That's what I'm curious about as well. Quickening Charm grabbed up by the DP.
Just looking at the core items that they have queued up.
And whose was it?
It was Phantom Assassin's courier.
Okay,
so she's going for Deso anyway.
I don't think there was anything on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because we have the little beautiful little tooltip from JJ that shows items that are on the courier. It's not there, so there was nothing on it. See there we go. Look, there's a buckler on the little donkey somewhere else for the Beastmaster. Pinging out the high ground, wanting to keep the wards going. Playing down in this bottom jungle, and man, we see this move time and time again. You know, we know a lot of teams like to smoke from their tier 2s, but LG love to smoke from the enemy high ground ward in their jungle and make the jump and force the BKB. BZM has to play defensively while we've got Monkey King whacking away at towers, forcing the glyph out of OG. But it's high ground.
Monkey, and he does have Wukongs plus Aegis for another minute and a half. Exo still running.
Yeah.
The Spirit Vessels reducing the healing. A lot of AoE damage. Good stun.
Jinkyu's in. The 3-man silence as well. Nothing to say. Diving in the lasso on the DP, but she is BKB. They put her in the fountain. What can they do against her? A lot of damage with the DK stun. They'll find nothing to say here with Uragi's jump. But in the meanwhile, it was all smoke and mirrors. A distraction ploy by LGD to bring the barracks down.
Yeah, no premature Lotus Orb this time around, but it gets the job done. They trade Nothing to Say for 2 barracks, 1 melee, 1 range. Another Lotus Orb on Tiny.
And OG, they need something big here to break the rhythm of this game. Uragi, they're there with Tiger, but the Monkey King hits in towards him. They've got the roar back on the PA as well, and an avalanche toss landing onto Amar and BZM. They've taken out Tiger, and Jin Q has fallen too, but the PA is focused by this Monkey King.
Yeah, Monkey with full Scotty and Mjolnir has enough damage, and if they are controlling supports, Batrider, he knew that there was no lasso, so he could go in and, oh, another Hawk stun.
Yeah, just a couple more hits and I'll kill off Misha. Assault Cuirass delivered out to
Fate Beyond's Beastmaster. Dispatch, Fate Beyond popping off on his Beastmaster. We're talking about 29 minutes Assault Cuirass.
Yeah, it's all or nothing now for OG. 2 heroes dead without buyback. Mega creeps on the horizon for LGD. Nightmare back onto Misha, silent stop his buyback is done. It's going to turn into a dieback as Arme unleashes on him, BKB's up, so the Dragon Knight can't stun him.
Aegis just expired. They need to play against Mega Creeps. This is it. We might be, thinking about getting a Divine Rapier for Phantom Assassin.
GG!
Yeah, they're going to call it.
There is no way back.
I was thinking, Gary, maybe
mantle
10 minutes in.
Where's the mantle? Someone pinged a mantle of intelligence somewhere. Who's doing it?
There it is. Someone dropped it. Yeah, good performance from PSG.LGD in this game 3. All the lanes, like the lane setup that they had, Monkey King plus Warlock did manage to win the lane, completely shutting down Warlock. Those couple of early rotations from Jin Q as well. Beastmaster breaking a couple of records.
Yeah, Monkey King as well. I mean, OG, great performance to kind of come back into the series with game 2. But honestly, when LGD look good, they look unstoppable.
Great. Absolutely.
In a game where things are going poorly in laning stage, there's always a way back for them. But when they are up and ahead, it feels like their opponents just have no answer to their snappy, decisive moves. All these smokes coming out from the enemy jungle. They are moving there as 3-4 heroes. Not only are they bodyguarding their carry where Arme can push the long lane all the way towards base, but they're also setting up for these aggressive smokes where they play forward towards the base.
Yeah, very clean execution overall. Roshan understanding when they need to go. The smokes into Exorcism, getting a pick off near the Roche pit. Pretty textbook example, I would say, but LGD, they are on another level right now.
Yeah, well deserved to get themselves towards the grand finals, as OG, sadly, going to be disappointed with this performance, dropping out in the semis. But what do you reckon? Are LGD on the form? They dropped against Secret. Are they on form to win the whole thing, do you reckon?
Yeah, they're in the grand finals. They need to see who they're playing, whether it's going to be Team Spirit or Team Secret. I think they want to play against Team Secret. They're a very proud team, and they want to show after that stomp that happened in the group stage that they can punch back.
Get their own back on
Absolutely.
Team Secret, yeah.
For OG, it was a good run. They are going back home with $400,000.
It's not bad.
A little bit more, 425, I believe.
Yeah, it's not bad for the semis. Yeah, dropping out and getting almost $500,000 to split between your squad.
Yeah, well, it looks good. They had a pretty good run. I think maybe they got little figured out because everyone is looking at you. You just won the major,
yes.
And every single team is going to do extra research, see how you've done that, and feels like a lot of preparation came in. One of the strengths of LGD is that they can completely shift their crafts. Like we're talking about full 180.